Welcome to another day in the Matrix, waters above crypto. I'm sending you all love and high vibrations. It's been an exciting week in the crypto market. The waters above Wolfpack was waiting on that correction around the Hebrew New Year, and we were rewarded for our patience. So now we're calmly waiting to re-enter the market later this month, and I'll make sure to keep you updated every step of the way. Today I'm going to dive into the Bitcoin and XRP charts to follow up on what I'm expecting over the weekend, and I'll also be sharing a Gematria decode to start off today's video. I'm also really excited to do this week's Red Pill episode this weekend. That's my technical analysis podcast where I'll be going over a bunch of altcoins and discussing the opportunities I'm seeing for this month. So if you'd like to get access to my weekly Red Pill episodes, you can join the Patreon Mastermind community membership at patreon.com/watersabove, and I'll be releasing my next episode over the weekend. And by joining that membership, you'll also get instant access to a Gematria Masterclass, which has 4 full Gematria decodes, including VeChain, Hedera Hashgraph, Digibyte, and Zinfin Network. For those of you who are looking to learn more about how to use the Gematria code to figure out price targets and important dates for these cryptocurrencies before it happens, I've had a lot of new wolves subscribe over the past week, and many are just finding out about Gematria and decoding for the first time. So I designed the Gematria Masterclass for those individuals who want to understand how this code works and how to actually utilize it in this crypto market. I'm sure my past 2 videos have shown how important it is to be aware of Gematria so you can be prepared for big moves weeks or even months ahead of time. So if you're new here, we do cryptocurrency technical analysis and combine it with Gematria, numerology, and astrology to understand these markets. Feel free to subscribe and turn on the bell notification to stay updated on when new videos come out. And make sure to give this video a like and share this channel with other conscious people to help grow this community. And for those of you who want to learn how to do technical analysis and combine it with Gematria, you can join my Mastermind course. My email's in the description box to get in contact with me for access to the course. And with that being said, let's take the red pill. So, I've been having a lot of people reach out to me lately asking about my last video and me discussing this date of September 16th. And September 16th is when I'm anticipating the Bitcoin price to reach a microcycle low. Now, that doesn't mean a new low. That doesn't mean we're in a dead cat bounce. That means that I'm anticipating something around $40,000, $41,000, and then predominantly a weekly close around 42 to 43,000. And I'm anticipating that to happen around the 16th of September into the full moon of September, which is on the 20th of this month. And I'm going to break down exactly why and what's the importance behind this date of 9/16/2021. And it's because it's Yom Kippur. Now, Yom Kippur, it actually starts on the evening of September 15th, and then it transitions into the 16th, but it is actually on the 16th. It's just a transition day. The importance here for this date is because it's the holiest day in the Hebrew calendar, and that's actually, you could just go and figure that out on your own research. But more importantly, this date I've figured out, I'm going to show you a little bit more in the analysis if you're brand new to this channel, but I've gone over it in my past 2 videos as well. A lot of people were confusing me talking about September 16th for the initial start of the correction. About a month ago or so, we were discussing how we should anticipate a microcycle high into the first week of September, and then around Rosh Hashanah, the Hebrew New Year, which is the start of Shemitah, we should have a correction. And this correction should be really out of nowhere for the masses. It'll be when the market has extreme greed, and then it'll completely confuse everyone. And that's why in my mastermind community, I've been telling all of the members, the month of September is a month of confusion. And I believe what just happened last night with XRP is another sign of it, seeing XRP's premature pump manipulation to essentially re-trap all the bulls again. So I'm going to break this down one by one. So first and foremost, we have Yom Kippur. And what's amazing about this is this gives us the 144. I'm going to go back to that number in a moment, but for those of you that have been following my work for a while, you know how excited I get about that number because ultimately it's one of the breakthrough numbers in my work personally. I've been talking about it quite often in my Gematria Masterclass when I did that a couple months ago, and then also in most of my decodes. Whenever I see this 144 number, it's pretty powerful. But let's just stick to the 99 for a second, because this 99 that we're getting in Yom Kippur, it comes back to Jupiter, okay, with that 99. And another thing that's really important is Yom Kippur on the 16th of September is a Thursday, and Thursday is Thor's Day, which is the day of Jupiter, okay? And this 144 number that we're getting is quite important because it's the square root of 12. It's the 12th Fibonacci number, the 12th number in the Fibonacci sequence. And this 144 is probably the most important number in my work this past year, so for the year of 2021. And it's also my end of the year price target for Bitcoin. I'm anticipating Bitcoin to hit $144,000 on the new moon of December. And it's currently the date of Bitcoin's all-time high. So if you go back to the charts and you go to Bitcoin, you could see that the current all-time high happened on the 14th of April. It hit 64,898. Okay, that day of the 14-4, written internationally, it would be 144. It's amazing how important this number is. And I have something that's even more incredible. Okay, I'll tell you that in a second. If you measure from the day after the 14th. So we have the 144 date, but if you go one day after the 15th of April and you measure that to the day before Rosh Hashanah, the day before the start of the Hebrew New Year, you get 144 days. How incredible is that? This 144 number is mind-blowing, and whenever you see it, you know it's going to be powerful. And where else do you see this 144 number that you've been seeing do really well lately in this crypto market? Well, Algorand. Algorand is really special because it has that 72, 36, and 45 connection, which comes back to Bitcoin with the 72, 36, 45 all in the same exact cipher. But that 144 that you're getting, okay? And what's really critical here is Algorand has been pumping this whole week pretty much, specifically over the past couple days, and we're getting that 36, and of course we are in the 36th week of the year. And where did Algorand kind of stall out? It stalled out around that 25, and that 25, that 250 number, it comes back to that BTC, Bitcoin. Algorand and Bitcoin are really closely tied together. That 25 number is also a really important number in the occult. So for those of you that have a lot of experience in Gematria, you know that 25 and 52 number come up quite often. But I don't want to discuss that right now. Let's stick to the important numbers. So getting back to that 144 that we're getting with Yom Kippur, we also see that showing up in a lot of other things, but I want to share an even more mind-blowing thing. So on Yom Kippur, when you add up the date as 9/16/2021, we are getting that 21. Let's keep that in mind. But when we add up the date the way that I like to do it, which is a little bit more unique, we have 9 plus 16 plus 20 plus 21, and that gives us the 66. And this 66 is incredible because this month's full moon is the harvest full moon. So let me show you this. With the harvest full moon, we have that 66. So it's tied back to the date of Yom Kippur with that 66 with the way that I added up the date numerology. So this month, we're also getting a lot of numbers with the harvest full moon. Of course, using the rules of numerology, you'd be removing the zeros. So this gives us 21, and this gives us 24, and this gives us 69. So let's stick on the 21, but more importantly, this 69 number coming in on the Chaldean cipher of this particular word, and that this all ties back to Saturn. So this 69 and that 21 is tying back to Saturn, 69, 21. And I've made sure in my last video to tell you about the importance of Saturn when using Gematria, because Saturn is Satoshi Nakamoto, who is Father Time, the ruler of Earth. Now, this 69 number comes up quite often, and again, this isn't a joke. This is actually serious. If you guys are trying to learn the code, I know 69 is kind of a joke, but more importantly here, we have with the New World Order, we have that 69 with Illuminati. We have that 69 with Jesuit Order. we have that 69, okay? It's a very important number. And then also that 201 coming back to harvest full moon, right? So we have harvest full moon with that 201. Again, like we had event 201, which was the precursor to the C-scam. So again, this is really important. But if I add up the date as the 9/16/2021, we're getting that 21. Remember that 21 coming back to Saturn. And this is incredibly important because that means that the 17th, okay, the 17th gives us that 22, which is the reset number, okay? The reset. And when I say reset, I'm not talking about a global financial reset. I'm talking about an energy reset in the market. So up until this date, we might be seeing a complete trend bottom out where we're seeing Bitcoin hit a bottom around the 16th or 17th of the month. And then it kind of tapers sideways throughout the full moon past the 20th, maybe as high as the 25th of September, and then rallies up near the end of the month into early October. So keep that in mind, how important that is. So remember, the reason this 22 number is quite important, remember we have the 9/17/2021, which gives us the 22. And this is where it gets mind-blowing before I move on to the analysis. Okay, we have the 9/17/2021, the day after Yom Kippur. All right, and then remember, Rosh Hashanah, the Hebrew New Year, was on the 9/7/2021, and that transition out of it was the 8th, which was 2 days ago, giving us the 22. This was the reset, the 21 followed by the 22. We had the crash, and then we had the energy become completely volatile to just shake everyone out. Kind of this idea of what the hell is happening. That's what it does to the average retail investor, but we've been prepared for this day literally probably 2 to 3 months in advance. I actually taught everyone in my community about Shemitah about maybe back in May. So it's been a lot of time to prepare for this moment. And another thing that is completely mind-blowing. Remember we were talking about Yom Kippur with that 144? Okay, that 144. When we type out September 17th, 2021, which is the day after Yom Kippur, we get that 144. Absolutely incredible. So let's move on, and I'm just going to do a quick recap of some of the things that I've seen happen over the past couple days in the charts. Again, yesterday was the date numerology of 99, that 99, again coming back to Jupiter, and yesterday was September 9th. The 9/9 date numerology. What we got yesterday was Jupiter energy. Essentially, we saw prices come really low yesterday in some of these coins, and then we had a shakeout to the upside. So this shakeout happened right after the daily close, and we saw XRP literally pump from like $1.07 all the way up to $1.24 in like an hourly candle. Lots of volume came in randomly, and it ended up being a huge fake out. So I'll touch back on the XRP analysis in a moment, but I'm going to tell you why this all happened. Okay, for XRP in particular, today's date numerology is 9/10/2021, giving us that 15. Of course, 15 comes back to the Chaldean cipher of XRP. And then another thing we have is, remember that 9/9 date numerology, that 99 comes back to Jupiter, and we have the 27 in Jupiter in the Chaldean cipher, and we have the 27 in the Chaldean cipher of Ripple. They match. They are very closely related to each other in this regard. This is why that 99 date into the September 10th date, again, September 10th being 9/10/2021 with the 15 tying back to XRP and Chaldean, this is why this energy happened, and this is why this huge fake out occurred. This is kind of beautiful to see too, because from a technical level, and I'll explain this in a moment, it's brilliant. So let's go back to Bitcoin and see what's going on and do a play-by-play. So first and foremost, we had our Shemitah, which was on Rosh Hashanah, September 7th, and the transition out of it on the 8th of September. And now we are leading into September 11th, okay? So we all know the ritual on that date, but that September 11th date, this will be the 20th anniversary. And again, when you're using any form of numerology, the zeros get removed. So you come back to 2. And 2 is always about duality. 2 is about man, woman, left, right, Lucifer, Satan, God, devil. It's all about duality with the 2. So it's really important to look at it from that perspective. 2 does not have balance. 3 brings balance. That's why 3 is the Trinity. 3 is when you have completeness, or you have a mediator between 1 and 2, and now you can make some sense of it. Think about 3 as a translator. It's Trinity. So it's important to look at it from that perspective, even when you're looking at geometry. And again, Gematria is just the word geometry. Everything is numbers. Everything is numbers, and that's the numerological value to letters is Gematria. So we had our Bitcoin correction start exactly on the Hebrew New Year, huge volatile candle. And then I told you guys, hey, just relax. When I made my video on the day of the correction, I said, give this like 4 or 5 days, and you're probably going to see the prices start to retest this wick. So the reason that I came up with that, let me hide the indicators to make this a little bit easier for you guys to see, is because right here when we had this huge crash on the 19th, I said the same thing to everyone. I made a video that day, you could go back and watch it, and I said I would not be surprised if in about 4 days we see price action that's similarly low to this big liquidity wick. And it's actually low volume. And the reason why I was warning everyone of that, because on this date, the 19th, just like a couple days ago on Rosh Hashanah, all the exchanges were really weird. KuCoin was acting up. All these exchanges were having liquidity issues, especially the leverage exchanges. Now, when I told everyone to wait a couple days, it was because I knew that we would have retests of similar prices, but we wouldn't have to deal with all the exchanges and all the people trying to buy and sell at the same time. So anyone who followed that advice, it was actually really amazing to see it all come to fruition exactly 4 trading days later on the 23rd. Now, if I was to use this, of course, it's not including the day, but that would bring us to September 11th, and that is tomorrow. So I think it's important that you consider this. Remember, 9/11 could also be looked at as 9 times 11, and 9 times 11 gives you 99, coming right back to Jupiter. And this will be happening on a Saturday, which is the day of Saturn. And these ties between Saturn and Jupiter are very important. For those of you that have been around my work for a long time, you know that I like to look at this market like Saturn, Jupiter, and Venus are the trinity, and then who controls them is the sun and the moon. Ra and Isis, if you want to look at it in that perspective. So that's always been my way of looking at this market, and that's what's helped us here, the waters above wolves. That's what's helped us get an edge on this market, because we're looking at it from a completely different perspective. Okay, so let's see how tomorrow plays out. Again, I'm not saying that we're going to come back to 42,000 tomorrow. I'm just saying that keep this in mind, that lately we're seeing the volume diminish, but similarly low prices. And any fake outs to the upside are welcome at this time, because you want people who are exuberant, who are not sophisticated in their investment thesis, to continue to get finessed, because those are the people that you're going to end up selling to at the end of the bull run. A lot of people ask me, well, who's going to buy a $140,000 Bitcoin? Well, it's going to be the same people that tried buying a $52,000 Bitcoin before a massive correction. When you start seeing Reese Witherspoon and Stephen Curry and all these famous athletes and actors in Hollywood start talking about on their Twitter how they're buying crypto, that's a time you want to get ready to sell. It always happens like that. We learned that lesson back in April and May. Okay, so I can't believe people didn't see it coming again. Regardless of all this esoteric stuff, you could just essentially take market sentiment, and you could use the market sentiment as an indicator to go the opposite direction. You might not be able to perfectly call the date. You might not be able to perfectly catch the top, but you'll be pretty damn close. I guarantee it. So with the Bitcoin analysis, what I'm anticipating is some of the technical levels around our exponential moving averages. And let me just break those down without any drawings, and this will be nice and clear. So for one, remember all last week I was talking about having moving averages sloping to the upside, and once they start sloping to the downside, that's when you anticipate a little bit of a corrective action in the market. Now we're seeing the 8 simple, 13 EMA, 21 EMA, and the 34 and 200 simple start to slope downwards, and today could be our potential first daily close for Bitcoin below that 200 simple moving average, and that's a sign we're probably going to move down to the next level, which would be the 55 simple moving average. Again, remember probably 2 weeks ago, I said in the event that we see any low-level price targets, it's going to come down to 42K. Boom, perfect, 42,500 on the day of the crash. And that wasn't my opinion necessarily, that was just me using these moving averages. Why do I use the 55 moving average? Because it's a Fibonacci number. I always try to be confluent in that. So with this daily close below the 200 is something to look out for, and that would be kind of setting us up for this idea of a September 11th, like, another leg to the downside, maybe around this 43,000 level. Again, nothing drastic, just keep that in mind. Okay, so a couple other things that we could consider is we had this liquidity wick right here on the 19th come within $20 of precision of the 382 fib. And that was the exact level that I told everyone. I said, if Bitcoin comes back to the 382 fib, you could anticipate a lot of the altcoins to start eventually heading down to the 236. I didn't say that it would happen on the same day as Bitcoin. I said that it will happen eventually, probably closer to the full moon of September, or maybe even the full moon of October for the altcoins. Why is that? Because if we're anticipating, at least I am anticipating, Bitcoin to come back to a new all-time high by the end of October, that is when the Bitcoin dominance will start to reset. So for those of you that this is your first bull run, you need to understand that around October into November, Bitcoin has a crazy rally. And when it rallies, it takes away a lot of the dominance or market cap from the altcoins. And this is why when we have an alt season, it happens after Bitcoin has its blow off top. So I'll be talking about that in videos as we progress through the months. But more importantly, we need to be patient at this time because we've seen Bitcoin come back and backtest the 382. Now we're seeing potential daily close below the 200 simple, which was once a actual support level. Now it could be flipped as a slight resistance in the short term. And then we have our lower level targets of the 382, potentially 42,000, even into this 200 exponential, which is around $41,300. Just like I said at the start of this video, I would not be surprised if we got a little flash down to that level on the 16th and then popped back up and started to see a slight recovery towards the end of the month. And if you watch my last video that I mentioned this in, I actually drew it out for you. So you could screen cap that and, let's save it for the future. Again, this is nothing to be like a crystal ball necessarily. It's just to be open-minded to possibilities. Again, we came up with this September 16th date because of our 58-day bottoms, and that was our last low correction price on the full moon of July. July 20th, the low coming in measured 58 days into the future gives us the 16th of September. Again, I called it the 56 to 58 day bottoms because sometimes we've seen it happen around 56 days. The 56 number brings us to Society of Jesus. So it's a perfect thing. Even actually in the newest Kanye West album, the album starts with it's called Donda Chant, and they say Donda 58 times. It's amazing how esoteric this all is. Again, the whole album was a Saturn ritual, and I might decode that for Patreon in the future if people are interested. So more importantly, the full moon that we're getting coming up next is on the 20th of September right here. And it looks like it'll be 5:55 p.m. around, similar that time. That doesn't really matter, but more importantly, the 20th of September. And we've seen, and I'll kind of expose this really quickly for anyone who's new to my channel, because I know a lot of people have just joined. The 5 days before or after a full or new moon is when you get your energy. So the energy that I'm talking about is with a new moon, you get bullish energy, and with a full moon, you get bearish energy. And we could see that in the altcoins. The altcoins can actually continue to be bearish past the 16th of September, whilst Bitcoin was just bottomed out on the 16th of September. Something to keep in mind, a little bit of food for thought. And if Bitcoin wants to continue to be bearish past the 16th, that's completely fine. I could see it doing something where maybe it even kind of forms like a cup and handle formation and then pops out. It'll be weird and on smaller time frames, but just kind of take it for what it is. So more importantly, we're using the lunar cycles here on this channel, and we've called this crash. And now we're looking like we're in a pretty good setup for retests of the lower levels. And I'm really excited for that because that's our buying opportunities. That's our opportunity. Lately in this market, we haven't really had a lot of opportunity unless you had really low levels set on the wicks back on the 7th of September. So let's move on to the XRP analysis. So first and foremost, I'm going to turn off these indicators and we're going to see something very important, which was a trend line that I actually drew about probably on the 10th or 11th of August. And it was this trend line right here. You can see that it actually had the daily close right at the trend line on the 7th of September after the flash crash. Then the next day on the open, resistance, following day, resistance. And then yesterday on the 9/9 date numerology, the transition into the 10th, we had this huge pump in a very short amount of time with a rejection on the 0.5 fib. That is a classic bull trap level. So what we're getting right here is a bull trap, just like I called it when I called the bottom at 51 cents. I called the bottom at 51 cents and then said anticipate a bull trap. That is 100% what we got. We just had to be patient and let it come to us. More importantly, always let the charts come to you. If we're not perfect on the day, it's okay. So what we're seeing here is a very textbook setup for this chart looking bearish. Now let me turn on the moving averages and actually turn off these drawings, and we're going to see a couple things. Okay, for one, we have all of these exponential moving averages and the 8 simple crossing kind of slanting to the downside. Then we see we've had 1, 2, 3 straight daily candles closing below the 34 exponential moving average. That's bearish, guys. Okay, so you see this was the bottom wick level of the structure. It came in on this day of the 18th and this day of the 27th, and we broke that for 3 daily candles. So if we get a daily close below 105, remember I told you guys about this level like weeks ago. Any daily closes below 105, and I'm anticipating moving to the next level down, which would be around 96 cents. Again, I mentioned I would expect XRP last month. I said I would expect it to hit $1.40, and then I would also expect it in the month of September to also go below $1. So we saw that happen within like a 48-hour span. It was beautiful. 140 down to 95 cents. Beautiful. Now, having these daily closures at this level shows me that we're probably going to move down to that 96 level. If that 96 doesn't hold, then you're looking for these 200s. So we have the 200 simple and the 200 exponential. We want to be looking for that. And as for our daily chart, anything on the RSI approaching 30, that's a very good buying opportunity. We could see that back here. Basically, we have right here, we have right there about the beginning of this January when the new year started. And then besides that, you have June around 30. Buying around 30, again, this isn't financial advice, but buying around 30 for XRP, 30 RSI on the daily is brilliant. It's always really been great, and it always is below moving averages. So you could see right there, we're below all the moving averages, right there, below all the moving averages. It's always beautiful buying opportunities. Same thing right here. We have the SEC crash, then another little dip before a blast off, always below the moving averages and always around 30 RSI. So is that possible this time? We have to wait and see, but more than likely, I would say that 86 level is possible. It's very possible. Why would 86 be a perfect number? Well, it comes back to Ripple and Gematria, 86, and we got that 86 cent target. It's very likely, guys. Again, this is from a technical perspective. I'm showing you the moving averages around 86, and then I could show you the perfect level of the 236 around 85 cents. And then we have the RSI potentially coming down to 30, which is historically what happens after these pump and dumps that we get. And XRP has been doing these 40-day pump and dump cycles over and over again. We have here, we have here, we have here, and then we've just seen it happen again and again and again. So it's important that we look at this coin as a very good coin for traders, not the greatest coin for hodlers. I've said that many times. I know it's offended people, but more importantly, if you're buying every major dip on XRP, you're always kind of buying what's considered to be higher lows. So ultimately, you're stacking your XRP at low levels that you're most likely never going to go below again. And that's always keeping you profitable. That's always keeping you in a positive ROI. So it's nothing to take personal. Again, here we're giving out the red pill. Kind of got to be used to it. So anything around 30 RSI is what I'm looking for. And another thing we could talk about is right here on the breakout of the 7th, which is, let me turn off everything and show you guys this. Another important thing. So we have here, we had a little bit of a start of a breakout, then we had a backup before the actual breakout on the 7th. And if I measure from the 7th over 40 days, that brings us to the 16th. Why is that so important? Because the 40-day cycle is what XRP always does. And where are we getting that 40 number? We're getting it in Ripple. And then remember, with XRP, we also get the 14. In reverse, that would be 41, as above, so below. Everything is mirrored when it comes to this matrix. So we have that 41, which gives us the 17th. And again, remember what I was telling you, that 17th date spelled out, September 17th, 2021, gives you that 144. And that's perfect to see that all come to fruition in the code. So could this happen on the same day as Bitcoin when we get those microcycle lows? Absolutely. But again, be a little bit more open-minded to the altcoins, kind of following their own trajectory. Just the overall energy of Bitcoin is what they follow when it comes to the analysis. So again, I'll be doing my Red Pill episode this coming weekend. I'll be doing a ton of altcoins. I'll be focusing a lot more on opportunity this month because we're seeing these prices come down. Be talking a lot about buying opportunities, talking a lot about coins that are oversold, coins that are ready to be accumulated, what I'm personally interested in. Again, that'll be available for Patreon supporters of the Mastermind community membership at patreon.com/watersabove. You could see what I'm personally buying and selling with live updates. You'll be getting access to a Gematria masterclass and access to our community Discord group chat, which now has over 1,100 members. Beautiful celebration of the 1111 we had on Rosh Hashanah. I appreciate everyone who's joined our community. Much love to you. So again, enjoy the rest of your day in the Matrix. Much love.